Hello everyone and welcome back to 48 Now. I'm digital host AJ Wiest, and Best Life Recovery has been doing a series for the past few months at St. Stephen's Music Hall, and today I am joined with Miss Stephanie and Mr. Evan. Evan and Stephanie, how are y'all doing today?
Awesome.
Doing great. Happy to be here.
So Sober Sundays, it's a series you guys have been putting on for the past few months. Talk a little bit about Sober Sundays. And how has the events been going so far?
So far it's been amazing. We've had a great turnout and a lot of people super interested in hearing music and learning more about recovery and what resources we have in Huntsville community.
Absolutely. And what makes St. Stephen's Music Hall such a great place to hold the event?
When Stephanie and I first talked about the idea, I had just recently gone to a sober event. And it was Gary Nichols and Billy Droz were playing this event, and it was to support a halfway house for men. Well, I knew that Stephanie had a halfway house for women in town, and I thought, well, I wonder what St. Stephen's could do to help benefit that house. But I kept having this idea that it was really inappropriate that a place that sold alcohol could benefit a recovery service. And so for a couple days I kind of battled with it, but then ended up calling Stephanie, and she came down to St. Stephen's, and like probably 2.5 hours later, after a beautiful conversation, we came up with the idea that St. Stephen's is the host, but it is run by Best Life Recovery, and it is a great partnership. We're so proud to have it there. It's just it's a lot of fun, and the music is still the focus of the night too. All the musicians that I book, they're all sober themselves, so it makes an appropriate thing for the patrons as well.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
And I know this Sunday, Mr. Mike Roberts will be performing, and he's actually in here today. Super exciting. But you mentioned all the artists are sober themselves. What kind of other things do you look for in booking each artist to perform at Sober Sunday?
I mean, our focus at St. Stephen's since the beginning has been as much original work as possible. So seeing musicians get on stage and perform their work, where a lot of venues, they're not necessarily encouraged to do a lot of originals because covers are fun. We all know that. But John Chamness is my partner over there, and he and I have a love for the craft and the arts, and having original music fits in perfect. So Sober Sunday fits in that way as well. Gary Nichols last month played I think maybe a handful of covers, but he played a lot of his originals, and so we love it. It's a perfect match.
And he got to talk a little bit about his story and his struggles and where he's at now in his recovery journey.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. But Stephanie, talk a bit about Best Life Recovery. What is it like working at Best Life Recovery, helping the community who might be struggling to get by?
So Best Life Recovery, it's a women's nonprofit sober living home, and so when someone comes out of detox and then treatment, then they would come into the house, and usually when they come in, they are starting fresh. So that means they need clothing, transportation, food, and help getting employment. And it is self-supporting, so once they get a job, they pay rent and, just get back on their feet.
Or let's talk a little bit about Sober Sundays and how the proceeds directly benefit people at Best Life Recovery.
Yes, so Sober Sunday, it's a free event, but donations go to help Best Life Recovery. And what that looks like is, like I said, when women come in and they don't have food, transportation, and if they can't pay initially, so it helps get someone, their first 2 weeks rent, and just helps them, direct services. So in addition to, we are working a program of recovery, but some they have to go to counseling, different things. So it just helps with all of that.
Absolutely.
It's been my purpose since I just got 10 years in recovery. And
wow, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And I know at the beginning it would have made a huge difference if I would have had a helping hand to get where I needed to get. It wouldn't have been such a struggle. I might have been able to get things going a little quicker. Instead, I had to struggle. But once I started working a program of recovery, the women here in the community really helped me. And so in turn, I learned like what that was like helping someone else. So.
Yes, ma'am. And as someone who has gone through this cycle, you definitely know how it feels firsthand.
Yes, that's where, the program is based on my experience, strength, and hope. And if I can recover, anyone can recover. Recovery is possible. And that's what Sober Sunday is about, showing the community, it's a safe space for people in recovery, but it's also a safe space for people who just don't want to drink for whatever their reason is, or for people who are curious about what recovery looks like. That's why we have Not One More Alabama has their resource table there, and we're handing out Narcan and different things. So it's also support where families can come and see what it would look like, and that recovery is fun because obviously if being sober, clean and sober wasn't fun, like why would anybody want to stay clean and sober? So recovery is possible, but learning how to do all the things that I used to do, but I would be drinking or whatever, but now doing it sober, that's the new normal.
That's right.
So.
And you mentioned Not One More Alabama. Can you talk a bit about that nonprofit and what they're doing for the Huntsville community?
Yes, so Not One More Alabama is a nonprofit that is really a support system for families who have lost loved ones to addiction or that need support in their journeys. And they're a huge resource center for support, how to find treatment, and they have different support services, grief counseling, and different things. So they have a website, and they will have a table each Sunday that we have Sober Sunday, and you can find out more directly from them.
Well, very awesome. In general, just generally, what can attendees expect to see at the event?
Well, the first thing, number one, is we do not sell alcohol at all.
That's right.
We cover up all the bottles and all the beer tap handles and all of that. We want it to be a comfortable thing for people in recovery to not be triggered in some way, but just to feel comfortable there. And Jess, who is in the program and at her house, is a bartender, and she's incredible. So she has come up with the NA menu. And it is awesome.
Yes.
We had NA Heineken was the only thing we had to really offer besides juices or soda water. And now we have a regular menu that we not only do on Sober Sunday, but we do during the week as well when we're open. So it's really neat to kind of see that side of the world.
Some delicious alcohol-free drinks.
Absolutely. I mean, jalapeno syrups and hibiscus, and it's really, Jess has done really incredible with that menu. And every month we have a featured drink, so that's a new one we bring to the table. One thing that it's just really neat that I consciously remembered the first time we did it is looking around the room and really soaking in every table and every group of people, and really noticing that this night was no different than any other night at our place. Right. So that to me was like the shining example of that's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. I want everybody to feel comfortable, have a safe space. I'm a drinker. It feels good to have a night that I see music without drinking. So
Absolutely.
it's just a good thing for everyone. It really is. Yeah.
And then we have a yellow balloon meeting at the beginning, so that's where anyone in recovery that wants to participate in just a brief kind of a sobriety check-in, talk about their journey, have meet other people who are working a program of recovery, and just share a little bit about their journey.
Very, very awesome that you guys offer that for people. You mentioned the drink menu, and you mentioned that each month you have a special drink. This month is the month of February. What's the special drink this month?
Jess was saying it was a jalapeno pineapple spritzer, which sounds awesome. So I'm going to let her do. I work almost every night that we're open during the week. Sober Sundays, I don't bartend. I let her do her thing, and she's a master at it. It's so much fun to see her work back there. and she makes all the tips. That's her job for the night, and she just loves doing it. But she does a great job making those drinks. It's going to be some good stuff. But I wanted to say that this one coming up is Mike Roberts, of course. We've talked about that.
Yes.
Then we have the next one will be March 9th, and then the one after that will be April 13th. So you can look on ststevensmusic.com, St. Stephen's Instagram and Facebook. We're always posting and showing when the next one will be, what musician will be there. So just keep tabs with us there. Yeah.
Well, good to know.
And the same, Best Life Recovery has a Facebook and a website, and we post all the information, and we have an event. So
Very awesome.
And our sponsors too.
Oh yeah, so AVIQ.
She always remembers the sponsors.
Yes. So AVIQ is who has been sponsoring the musicians, and so they are very active in supporting Best Life. We had our fundraiser at their facility on University, and AVIQ is just an audio-visual store that everybody should visit.
Yeah, it's an awesome place.
Well, Miss Stephanie, I do want to ask you one more question. And for anyone who might be watching at home right now, who might be struggling with addiction, what is some advice that you would give them?
So first, just reach out. And you can reach out to me personally. That's what my phone number and the website. I mean, I am open on Facebook, so you can look up and send me a message, and I will get back with you. But reach out to me, reach out to an organization such as Not One More Alabama, and the resources. I mean, sometimes all it takes is a recovery meeting, and which is what we have at St. Stephen's. So you can come and check it out, and you can start your journey.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
It's super important to get the message out there so everybody can understand, there are things to do in Huntsville that don't involve alcohol.
Yeah.
But involve music.
Yeah.
That's right.
February 9th.
It's a win-win.
Mike Roberts, St. Stephen's.
That's right. Come on out. You're not going to want to miss it. That is for sure. I am joined with the one and only Mike Roberts, who will be performing this Sunday at St. Stephen's Music Hall. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, AJ?
Doing really well. Doing really well. So talk about Sober Sundays, and how did you hear about the event, and how did you become a headline performer?
Well, Evan had reached out to me for the first of the year, and so I knew about it, and I attended last month's. It was great, great turnout, great message. I have Narcan now for my vehicle because in my line of work, I never know if I'm going to see somebody who may need that. Right. So I have it in my vehicle. So it's a really cool event, in my opinion. So
yes, sir.
I'm excited they asked me to play,
Absolutely. And as an attendee, you said you attended an event last month.
Yes, sir.
What did you think about the event? Did you have a great time?
It was great. I had a really great time. Gary's a friend, but he's so talented, he's so good, it was great to see him, and I saw a lot of people I love there, so, it's a good thing, so it was great.
Can you say what songs you might be performing?
I'm going to be playing songs I wrote.
Okay.
So I don't know what songs they'll be yet until I sit down or stand up behind the microphone, and then I'll begin to play songs that I wrote, and I'll do it for 2 hours, and then I'll be done. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I know that's a terrible answer, AJ, but I don't use a list very often.
Well, very cool. Very cool. What got you interested in performing music?
My mom was a singer, is a singer, and I grew up around music, and I just fell in love with it at a young age.
Absolutely.
So I love playing it, singing, and writing down how I'm feeling and sharing it with folks. It helps me a lot. So.
Absolutely. And I know you are sober yourself. Can you
I
talk
quit
a bit?
drinking 8 years ago. Friday or Saturday of this week. I have to go back and look at my calendar to see what day it was, but yes, sir. I got really sad. So I drank a lot. And I mean, my doctor told me I was going to die if I didn't stop. And my son was 11 years old at the time. And, my biggest aspiration in my whole life wasn't music. It's to be a good father to my son. And I wasn't being a good father to my son. So I stopped. And that was the end of it.
Yes, sir.
Anyway.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Sure thing. It's my honor to. I feel happy that I quit. I feel pretty accountable that I got myself there in the first place. And so it's pretty easy once you forgive yourself. And I've done that. So just got to move on. And I'm looking forward to events like Sober Sunday. And I can't wait.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. What are you most excited for this Sunday?
Just to be able to be a part of something so unique. So to me, this area doesn't have these sorts of events enough. So to get asked to go do it was pretty cool, I thought. So thanks for asking me, you guys. And I love St. Stephen's. It's a fun stage for me. I love Evan and John. They're my friends and my brothers, and so that's always a bonus to get to really like the people you're working with and working for. So I'm excited about it.
That's right. Yes, sir. Then finally, Mr. Roberts, for anyone watching at home who might be struggling with addiction, what is some advice you would give them?
I would think that you had to find something to do with your time to keep you. For me, it was a bottle of whiskey. So for me, the bottle of whiskey it came at certain times of the day or evening. So I found some constructive things to do with my time. I learned self-defense. I got in good shape. I learned how to do yoga, and I started meditating a lot and praying a whole lot more too, and all those things. It's always different for everybody, I fell in love with my music all over again, and not a lot of people get to say they do that, so I'm thankful to have a second opportunity to share my music,
Yes, sir. And talk about how music can oftentimes be the ultimate healer. How music oftentimes can be the ultimate healer to get you out of a dark place.
It helps a lot, I think that having that positive mindset and having people around you who don't naysay or doubt that you'll succeed, having the right people around you means everything. And having the wrong people around you almost means absolute failure all the time. So if you're struggling with a decision of whether to let a friend or two go because they don't understand, you can do it. It's okay. They'll either come back or you'll find a better one down the way, And so there's a lot of tough decisions to make when you lay down whatever it is you need to lay down. For me it was alcohol. So you can do it. You can do it. So, and I'm around it. I'm around it every day of my life because I play music for a living.
That's right.
And not every event is a Sober Sunday. So I get to, I'm around it and it doesn't bother me. And for some people that's impossible. You know what I mean? And if it was impossible for me, I'd probably learned enough trade already. You know what I mean? But I really have no trouble in that area. So
that's great. How do you balance not giving in to that temptation when you are around it?
I really, to be honest, AJ, after you stop drinking alcohol, and you feel that better, and you make better decisions, and you're more focused, and you're happier, and you can love more, and you can have more passion. You really don't get tempted by alcohol. If you see the things that are the most positive in your life, you realize that they're there because you gave it up. So for me personally, there's certain things. I quit chewing tobacco the day I quit drinking, which was just as hard, maybe even harder than quitting drinking. And chewing gum was a trigger. For whatever reason, when I chew gum, I would want to this day, if I chewed a piece of gum, I would want chewing tobacco. So I don't chew gum anymore, AJ. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you make those sacrifices and you get change. You know what I mean?
That's right. Eliminating those triggers there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I wish I had a better answer, but I don't once you get there, it's so much more fun to have that camaraderie with the guys in the band, and and to cut up and play songs and have those moments musically that you never got to have when you're intoxicated.
Right.
So,
yes, sir.
It's really cool, man.
Well, Mike, thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
sharing.
having me.
Very well said.
Yeah.
That
Thanks,
was awesome.
man. I think for me it was a no-brainer. So you guys can do this. So anyway, see you Sunday.
Yes, sir. That's right. Come on out to Sober Sundays at St. Stephen's Music Hall. It's a series that's been going on, but this Sunday you get the chance to catch the one and only Mike Roberts. It's going to be a great time. You're just not going to want to miss it. That is for sure. Well,
Now
Mike,
come on out, and they have Narcan as well to distribute. They have a limited supply available. They have it with them on site. So if you were thinking that you might want one for your car, just in case you see somebody that you don't even know that might need your help, you can save their life. You help them be okay from that. So anyway, it's just another added bonus in my opinion. So anyway, yeah, come see us, please.